Top 5 civilizations that mysteriously disappeared. Throughout our history, most civilizations have either met a slow demise or were wiped out by natural disasters or invasion. But there are a few societies whose disappearance has scholars truly stumped. Number 5. At 5 is the Cucuteni Trypillian culture. In Romania, they are the Cucuteni, in the Ukraine, they are the Trypillians, and in Russia, they are the Tripoli, a late Neolithic culture that flourished between 5500 BC and 2750 BC. At their height, the Cucuteni Trypillian society built the largest Neolithic settlements in Europe, with some housing up to 15,000 people. One of the biggest mysteries of this culture is that every 60 to 80 years, they would burn their entire village and reconstruct it on top of the old one. One of the main theories about the end of this culture is the Kurgan hypothesis, which states that they were conquered by the warlike Kurgan culture. However, more recently, archaeology points to a dramatic climate change which could have led to one of the worst droughts in European history, devastating for a culture that relied heavily on farming. Number 4. Coming in at number 4, a prehistoric Native American people, the Clovis culture dates back to 10,000 BC. Centered in southern and central plains of North America, they are archaeologically recognized by chipped flint points called Clovis points. The Clovis people were the first human inhabitants of the New World and are considered the ancestors of all North and South American indigenous cultures. There are several theories around the disappearance of the Clovis culture. The first states that a decrease in megafauna along with less mobility in their culture led them to branch off and form new cultural groups like the Folsom culture. Another theory is that the mammoth and other species became extinct due to overhunting, leaving the Clovis without a viable food source. The final theory revolves around a comet that crashed to the earth around the Great Lakes region and significantly affected the Clovis culture. Number 3. Named after the legendary King Minos, the Minoans are at number 3. They are inhabited what is now Crete from 3000 to 1000 BC. They were the first known civilization in Europe. Today, all that is left of the Minoan civilization are their palaces and the artifacts found within. The Minoan civilization was one of social organization, art and commerce. Many scholars believe that the Minoans were wiped out by a volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, now Santorini, but there is evidence that they survived. However, the eruption would have killed all plant life, thus leading to starvation and damaged their ships, leading to economic decline. It is also believed that during this time they were invaded, possibly by the Mycenaeans. Number 2. The Anasazi at 2 were a Native American culture that emerged in the Four Corners area of the United States, where New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado and Utah meet around 1200 BC. Around 1300 AD, the Anasazi abandoned their cliff houses and scattered. Many scholars believe that after a population explosion, poor farming methods and a regional drought made it difficult to produce enough food. Due to this lack of food, the Anasazi moved either along the Rio Grande or on the Hopi mesas. Recent studies prove that this climate change could not explain the decline of the Anasazi alone and suggest that social and political factors like a violent conflict led to their end instead. Number 1. The Indus Valley civilization is at number 1. Once inhabiting an area about the size of Western Europe in what is now Pakistan and Western India, the Indus Valley or the Harappan civilization thrived from 3300 to 1300 BC, although the area was settled all the way back to 7000 BC. Despite being one of the largest ancient civilizations, not much is known about the Harappan civilization, mostly because their language has never been deciphered. We do know that they built over 100 towns and villages, including the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, each of which was built with an organized layout and a complex plumbing system with indoor toilets. There are several theories as to what happened to the Indus Valley civilization. Some people believe that they declined because of changes to their environment, such as decrease in the size of the Ghaggar-Hakra river system or the cooler, drier temperatures that are also evident throughout the Middle East. Another popular theory was that the Aryans invaded them around 1500 BC.